If Notion deleted my account today, which would absolutely devastate me, and after I was done sobbing about it, here's what I would set up first. And the reason why I want to share this in today's video is because I think a lot of us get so overwhelmed with all the possibilities of Notion that we're not sure, like, what do we start with? What do we build first? How do we use it? And so I'm going to give you a step-by-step workflow of what I would do if my Notion account was wiped from the internet. But first, if you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click that button. It takes just 2 seconds and you will be part of the YouTube community where we talk about Notion, of course, but also squeeze in some planning and productivity tips, habits and routines, and all of that nerdy productivity stuff. Now, the absolute first database that I would create, if I didn't have anything to start with, would be a master task list. This is so essential if you are tired of finding like little random to-dos on sticky notes or in notebooks or even on the Notes app in your phone. This is one place inside Notion that is going to store your tasks and organize them. And these are tasks that could be due on a specific due date, or even tasks you're not even sure you want to complete, but they're like someday tasks that you just don't want to lose that idea or that possibility of something that you may want to tackle in the future. The best way to track your tasks in Notion, I think, is using a database. If you're not familiar with databases, they are kind of like Excel spreadsheets on steroids, where every single row in that spreadsheet is technically a Notion page that you can write on and you can build out. But I like to use these databases because they allow me to add properties to the database, which is just another way to say you get context for that database entry. And when it comes to tasks, you're going to want context like the due date and the status of the task and the category that maybe it belongs in. So that's why I think that your master task list should live inside a database instead of just a regular Notion page with simple checkboxes. So we're going to build that out really quickly here just to show you what that would look like. However, if you want to cheat, if you want to not have to do it from scratch, you can also download my free master task list template. I'll leave a link in the description below. But the first thing that I'm going to do here is click the plus icon, and I'm going to type a backslash, and that will bring up all the different blocks that I could do to build out this page. But I actually want the database, so I'm going to type in table view and click that and start a new database that is titled tasks or master task list, whatever you wanted it to be. And then under this column where it says name, these are all your different tasks. So let's say you needed to book lodging for a summer vacation. Maybe you needed to go ahead and water the plants, and you needed to meal plan for the week. Whatever it was, you could put your tasks here in this list. And then we want to add those properties or context that I was talking about. So let's add a due date first. That's really easy. So I'm going to actually change this tags into a date property. So let's go into type and date and just rename it date. Super easy. We'll just assign some dates really quickly. And if you wanted these to be in the correct order, you would need to add a sort, which is up here on the top right of the database, and to say sort by date ascending, and now they're automatically in order. So I'm going to drag that column over to the left-hand side. That's where I like to see it for my master task list. Now I can add another property, let's say a category property. So I would use the select property option and label this category, and then we can add tags or different categories to this. So like work or home or school or maybe a freelance job or income that you bring in. Maybe you have tasks related to that. So then you can go in and quickly assign each of these. So that's for home, and let's just say this is like personal of booking lodging. So you see how that works. I would also add, I'm not going to add them here, but I would do a priority level and use the same select property for that. So like high, medium, or low priority. I would also add an energy level. Again, another select property where you have high energy or low energy, just because I think it's so essential when it comes to your task that getting them done is not necessarily a concept of better time management. It's a lot of times energy management. And if you are interested in learning more about that concept, I filmed a whole video about it. And you also get a free energy tracker template that's going to show you your best time of day and your best day of the week where you have the highest energy levels. And then that's where I find the most success in completing your to-do list is assigning your high energy time blocks to your high energy tasks. But go watch that video if that topic interests you. I'll leave a link in the description. The last one I'm going to actually show you here is a status property, just because the status property on a Notion database is really unique, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to add another property and go down to status, and it immediately gives me 3 options: not started, in progress, and done. You could change those if you wanted them to be like complete instead of done. Really doesn't matter, whatever you prefer. But here's what I love about this property is I can show it as this text, or I can click it and show it as a checkbox. And that's what I like to do for this view of the master task list. So it's just easy to click a checkbox rather than click the line item of the status and choose a different status. So I'm going to drag that over to the left-hand side as well, and you have a master task list. Now, I know this isn't like fully built out, and so you're maybe thinking, oh, that looks really simple. Let me show you what my master task list looks like, just so you know like what the options are available to you when creating this inside Notion, or how to customize my free template. So I have all of my tasks here, and I actually have, you can see all these properties. I was talking about the priority property, the energy property, and then I also have this filtered to show me anything that is not complete, because I have a new tab up here at the top that shows me all my completed tasks based on the date that I complete them. And I don't necessarily reference this all the time. It's mainly just to keep it out of my all tasks tab, but it is kind of nice to come in here and be like, yeah, like I completed all of those items. You could also filter it by the different categories if you wanted to as well. So here, this home and personal projects is filtered to just show me anything that's not complete, and where the category is home and personal. So that's what a master task list could look like. Now, the next database that I would create if Notion wiped my account from the internet is a projects and goals database, and I would specifically connect it to my master task list so that I knew exactly what tasks I had to do for each project. And I'm going to show you that here now. So you can see here's a relation property. That's how you get 2 databases to connect together. You use a relation property. And this is already connecting to my own project database, where I could click on this section here and choose whatever project that I thought this task belonged to. I'm going to pop over to my, I call it sprints and projects. You could call it whatever you want. You could just call it a projects database. You could call it a goals and projects database. I tend to lump a lot of goals and projects together just because every project is a goal to complete, and sometimes a goal may contain multiple projects to complete. So they're kind of very similar to me, and I'd rather simplify and just have them in one database. So here you have my completed tab of all my projects. And then I also have a current tab assorted by what's in progress, what's coming up next, what's not started, and then what's been on hold, maybe a project that I started that just I feel like is not a real priority right now. I put it in the hold category just to kind of get it out of my in progress section. So let's go ahead and create this and show you what that would look like. I'm going to actually turn this master task list into a page. So I'm going to click the domino icon, turn into page, just to kind of clean it up a little bit. And we'll quickly change the icon so it looks aesthetic and we don't have to look at that blank page there. So I'm going to create another database, use the / command. Instead of the table view though, I want to create a board view. And I could see my projects in a table view. That's the nice thing about databases is you have 6 different views to choose from to see the same information. But like you saw before, I like to see it in the board view option. So we're going to create a new database and we're just going to name this projects. And we already have baked in here some status properties since we've done the board view first. Each of these cards could be a different project. So let's say plan summer vacation. We also want to declutter our closet. And maybe we want to build a capsule wardrobe as well. So those are 3 possible projects that you could have. And then you have the status here that you can then drag and drop in between to say what you still have left to do and what is in progress. When it comes to the properties that you may want to have in the projects database, I could see a start date being helpful. So you could do start date. You could also add a category property if you wanted to. What do I have here? Oh, a text property. That might be good to flesh out the project a little bit. Like, why do I want to complete this? Or what is my objective? This just allows you to type anything in this field that you wanted to remember about the declutter closet project. And of course, you could come down here and write anything on the page that you wanted to as well. Now, I showed you that we could connect this project database and the master task list database together. So I'm going to add a relation property in order to do that. And it's going to ask me, well, what database do you want to connect this to? And so then I can say master task list. Do I want to show this on my master task list? Yes, I do. And let's just do project singular, since only one project will be assigned to one task. Click add the relation, and now I can go into my master task list and you will see that new property showed up here. So book lodging for summer vacation. Let's choose the project plan a summer vacation. So you see how that works? It's kind of pretty cool. And then I'm going to show you something else that's cool. You can go into the project and do the / command and add tasks that are only related to this project. So you would do this via a linked view of database because we already have the master task list database created, and we're going to click on that. And then we want to filter it to say the project contains planned summer vacation. And there we go. We have all our tasks, only one so far, for everything we need to do to plan our summer vacation. So it's just a great way to keep things organized, and those would definitely be my top 2 databases that I would want to create in Notion. Now, you don't have to start that from scratch either, because I do have a 6-week sprint goal planner. And if you are new to my way of goal planning, the 6-week sprint, I'll leave a link to a video that I did all about that below that kind of explains more about the system, but basically you're tackling any goal or project within 6 weeks, and the shorter time frame helps motivate you to get it done instead of procrastinating on that project. So that template, which is for sale, does have a master task list in it, but it also has a goal and project database in it as well, with some other databases and information that is relevant that kind of makes everything work behind the scenes. So if you wanted those 2 databases done for you, connected and working in a way where you could just pick a project that you wanted to tackle for 6 weeks, that template is going to guide you through that process. Before we move on to the next one, let me just turn this one into a page as well. And let's see, projects, we'll just give it a hammer icon. Not being super creative with it because I want to make room for number 3, the third thing that I would create in Notion if Notion wiped my account, and that would be a life areas database. On my own account, you can see my life areas here on my personal dashboard page. And what this does is 2 things. It allows me to assign a life area to a specific goal, but also each of these pages inside this database is another hub related to one of those life areas. So my health and wellness page has my workout calendar in it, has medical information, fitness and nutrition information, self-care information. My finance one has some savings goals. It has, accounts to bills and expenses. Like down here, I have some upcoming payments, my bill tracker coming up. So if you're struggling with like how to organize Notion, once you get the master task list in place, once you get the project database in place, then do a life areas database and you can build out each of those areas with information that you want to organize and keep track of instead of just feeling like it's piecemeal across your workspace. So to do that, it's very easy. We're going to do the same process that we have before. We'll just do a slightly different view. So I'm going to click the plus icon / command, and let's do a gallery view of this because I think life areas look so much prettier and more aesthetic when you use a gallery view. We're going to need a new database, name this life areas. And then I can also, if I wanted to, make these a little bit smaller. I could do the 3 dots, go into the layout. I could toggle off the database title. I could also do card size small and card preview. I don't want to show the content. I want to actually show the page cover. And then I would have to go into each of these and say, okay, this one is for health. So let's add a cover for that. Maybe just some fruit to help us be healthy. And you can change the icons on these as well. I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing that just because you can kind of see how this is working, and then each of these pages you could just build out kind of like I showed you on my personal dashboard page. That one was a really quick one. Let's also turn that into a page, and we will just do a flower or something very simple. All right, the 4th item that I would create if Notion wiped my account, 4th database actually, is a daily journal database. And when I say daily journal, I know we automatically think of like Dear Diary and sharing all our thoughts and feelings. That's not what I use this for. I was actually really inspired by Marie Pullen's daily journal because she just brings so much data into her day-to-day planning. And that's what I like to do. I'm curious about how many steps I have in a day. I'm curious about the TV shows that I watched. I'm curious about the moods and feelings that I had for the day, and I like to track that inside a daily journal. So let me show you mine first. So over here, I'm doing a calendar view. Let's go back to March. You can see I have my workout showing here. I have my moods showing. I can look at here the week of the 4th and say, oh wow, I was like stressed like almost every day. What is happening? I need to pivot. I need to practice more self-care. So it just is more of like an awareness factor for me. So I'm gonna open this up and you can see that I track like the location that I'm in because I'm a full-time nomad and RVer, and we're in a different location every couple of weeks. My workout, my work time, I have all my different habits, my steps, and then on this particular one, sometimes I track my food log as well, which rolls up my calories, protein, carbs, fiber, etc. So to create one of these daily journals, we'll go over here, same exact steps, and we're going to do a calendar view. And let's do a new database and call this daily journal. And then you can add a new entry to any day and it will automatically have the date added to it. The things that you want to track on your daily journal are going to be probably very different than mine or similar. I think it's nice to have like your habits. If you want to do some daily habit tracking, that could be really useful. And you would do that via a simple checkbox property. So I'm just going to search checkbox and then say make bed, or maybe I want to, let's do another checkbox, read for 20 minutes. So whatever was important for you to track, you could do that. I also, for the title, I also just throw the date in there so you could type it in, or you could just copy to clipboard and then paste it in as well. Super easy. You may want to track work time. You may want to track steps. If you were tracking steps, I would just make that a text property. So I would go and change this from multi-select to text and type steps, and you could change the icon if you wanted to. So shoe, and type in how many steps you had at the end of the day. If you wanted to track feelings or moods, kind of like I do, that would be a multi-select property, so multiple tags assigned to a day. I try to limit it to 2, but you could say like emotions or feelings, and then add the different options here, like stressed or overwhelmed. Let's do some happy ones. Happy, confident, you know, whatever it is that you felt, and you could change the colors of each of these by just clicking on the little arrow and changing them to the different color. And then here on your daily journal calendar view, you could choose what properties you wanted to see. So you could do the 3 dots and go to properties and say, okay, I want to see how many steps I walk in a day. I also want to see my emotions for the day. And I don't think we assigned anything here. So let's just say we're happy and confident. And so that's what shows up in our daily journal. I'll also turn this into the page, and let's just say this is a calendar. There we go. All right, so we have 4 very useful databases that are what I would create first if I were first opening a brand new Notion account. The 5th and final item that I would add would not be another database. It would actually be a page. It would be my personal dashboard page, because it's not necessarily useful for me to go into each of these items and click around and try to reference them. It's just a lot of excess clicking. So I would create a personal dashboard page that would bring all of these items into that page that I needed to see, like a current project that I was working on, tasks that were due today, etc. I think that would be a lot more helpful. So let's go ahead and create that. So I'm going to do just a page, title this personal dashboard, and let's just add, we'll just do like a heart icon for that. You can add a cover photo to that if you want. And I'm going to make this full view by going to the 3 dots on the top, or sorry, full width. Actually, let's just add a cover because that blank spots are really bothering me. So we'll just add something fun like these macaroons, however you pronounce it. They're quite colorful. So the first thing I would probably want to see on this is my life areas on top, kind of like I showed you on my personal dashboard page. That's going to be all of my different hubs that I would maybe access on a daily basis. So we're going to do a linked view of database because we don't need to create a new database. We just need to embed the database that we already created into this page. I'm going to choose the database source of life areas, the gallery view, and let me just quickly flush these out. I'll do a time lapse so it looks a little fancy. Okay, so that is done. I also changed the cover photo because those backgrounds were, it was just too bright for me to look at. So we changed it to something a little bit lighter and softer. But health, finance, and home, and you could add, let's see, the other ones I had was like fun and recreation or leisure time, I think I called it, and then work. So you could add as many life areas as you wanted to that section. I think I don't have a title for this, but I did change the tab to be life areas, which you could easily do by right clicking on it and saying rename, and you could say life areas, and then we'll just do a little sunshine for that. And there you go. You have it start, your personal dashboard started with your life areas on top. The next thing I would want to see is what tasks am I responsible to do today? So I'm just going to do an H3 heading and say this is today's tasks. And I'm going to add some color to it in the background, add a dividing line, and then I'm going to bring in my task database, my master task list. So I'm going to do a linked view of database again. Master task list is my data source. However, I only want to show what's due today. So I'm going to filter that to the date is relative to today and this day. So nothing is showing up here, but if we went back into our master task list and changed meal plan for the week to today, it will show up. And it does under today's task. And because we already have a heading and title, we can go to the 3 dots, layout, and toggle off that database title if we wanted to, and change this. I'm going to do an asterisk so that I can just do the icon of the little task task icon so it looks a lot cleaner. If you are interested in like Notion aesthetics and making your workspace really streamlined and clean and minimal but functional, check out my Notion aesthetics video where I walk you through a few steps on how to do that. So after the tasks that I would be interested in knowing what I have to do today, I'd also want to bring in what is my current project that I'm working on. So let's also duplicate today's tasks, and I'm going to actually go over here. You see I can drag and drop to make another column, and I'm going to title this current project. I'm going to make this a little bit skinnier right there and drag today's tasks up underneath that. And I can still see pretty much everything here. Then I'm going to do another linked view of the database. That's exactly how we embed databases that we have already created into another page. And now we're going to choose the projects database. But we don't want a board view. That's not going to be like really helpful for us here. So let's do a new empty view, and let's make this a gallery view. Let's just keep it really visual, toggle off that database title. The card preview, let's do page cover, and we'll go add another cover, and the card size I think would be fine to be small. Now we need to filter this to where the status is in progress. So only the current project that we have going on. And actually, I'm going to change this back to medium because that is kind of too small. So let's go back to medium, and let's go into declutter closet, and we'll add an icon to it, box for like decluttering the box. And then let's do closet, see what comes up. Pick a set of clothes, and now it's showing, okay, this is our current project that we are working on right now, and it's right alongside our today's task. So you're seeing like how I'm building out this personal dashboard. Then the other database that we created was a daily journal. And so down here, I would do a daily journal. So linked view of database again. And I would want to bring in daily journal. Let's keep it the calendar view because every day I could just click the plus icon and add a new entry to it. And let's also get rid of that database title and add one of these titles because it does look a lot prettier. So we'll drag that up here to the top and daily journal. And that gives you a really good starting place. You've got your life area hubs that you can build out with things that you want to track. And they don't even have to be broad categories. Like I have a broad category of leisure because I like to have my reading hub in there. I like to crochet, and so I put some patterns in there and stuff. But you could also have like one just dedicated to reading. It's really like the life areas that are relevant and important to you. Today's task that you can look at, the current project, and your daily journal. So we're creating separate pieces in a Notion workspace, but then we're bringing them all together in the personal dashboard. And if you are interested in taking a full tour of my own personal dashboard and what I've actually included in mine, I have each of those items, but I also have a lot more too. So if you're interested in learning more about that and just seeing what I find interesting to track in my own Notion workspace, I'll leave a link to that video below. I hope this video gave you a starting point if you are feeling a bit lost inside Notion. You don't even have to build all of those things that we did today. Just pick one or two items that you think would be really important and build it exactly the way you want it and the colors that you want to use, and really just have fun with Notion. I think like it's so easy to get frustrated with Notion, but then when you remember we're building customized systems for ourselves that in the end are going to be really beneficial and supportive to all the hats that we have to wear in life. And so really just look at it as enjoying the process, use the colors, use the pretty cover photos. And if you need some help along the way, you can check out the links below for any of my premium Notion templates or my Notion anatomy class, both of which automatically earn you a spot in my Nerdy About Notion community where I can provide a little more one-on-one help with you and answer any questions that you have about Notion. Thanks so much for watching and sticking with me today. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, because we're gonna do a lot more Notion content in the future, and I will talk to you later. I hope you have a great day.